Hi everybody, Ninja Mama here. Today I need to give a response to a commenter on someone who commented on my verbal abuse disguised as jokes video, and to the commenter I apologize for taking so long to respond. I actually had recorded another video another time, and then I didn't like the way it came out, and so it's taken me a while to get back around to redoing it. So here goes, and I hope this helps. I'm going to read the comment here. The commenter says, I just recently received a threat disguised as a joke, and I would like to hear others' opinions. I got into a conversation about immigration, Trump, politics, etc. I am a Democrat, but I agree with some of his stances. My neighbor is an illegal immigrant from Mexico, and we have been friends and neighbors for 5 years. I have known all of his kids, 3 kids from birth. Since the election, we have become divided because he is an illegal immigrant, and I agree with immigration laws mostly. Everyone expected Hillary to win, and there has been a lot of intimidation nationally for people to vote for her, even if you don't like her. I have not liked Hillary for over 10 years. My dislike for her and being tired of the Clintons' rule, even though I loved Bill Clinton, did not just start when the election started. I am a veteran, and I have always supported law enforcement, law and order, etc., even against some of my own family members who have an anti-police mentality. My stance is pro-police, anti-police brutality. So in the face of immigration, my stance continues pro-immigration law and anti-immigration official abuse. But for people that are one-sided on these and other issues, they think that my stance should change for them. Obviously, my neighbor is invested in working against immigration laws. Whenever we get into discussions about the issue, he assumes that due to the media coverage that everyone disagrees with all of Trump's stances. I do disagree with some, but agree with others. I always try to look at the pros and cons and be fair and objective. This is my personality. But in this heated environment, many anti-Trump supporters are not trying to hear any fair and objective views. For them, it's all or nothing, friend or enemy, black and white, which is not realistic. Well, this is my neighbor's mentality also. This is not the first heated debate I've gotten into, but what sets this apart is a threat I received in the form of a joke. He asked me if he were to get deported, would I help him and give a good recommendation? And the answer, of course, is yes, despite my stance on immigration, because I know him to be a law-abiding family man. I have heard him say on different occasions that if he gets deported, he will kill any American he sees in Mexico. But I took this just to be frustration and anger over current politics. And you're probably right on that. That's probably just an empty threat type of statement. Soon after our discussions and him knowing my stance, he showed more aggression towards me, and he started calling me Republicano every time he sees me, which annoyed me because I know he's mocking my views and trying to put me in the friend or enemy category, as many others are doing on this subject. But I am a lifelong Democrat. He also made sly remarks that I hate Mexicans, which I do not. Gaslighting. Anyways, the joke/threat came when one day, once again, he asked if I would be there for him if he were detained for deportation, and again I said, of course. Then he said in a semi-joke form that if I get deported and you don't help me, I will come back here and do something to you. And he simultaneously looked towards my apartment as if to size up and survey what he could do. At the time, I brushed it off as just another comment, but the next day, I got into another immigration issue with an immigrant that asked me to marry someone for money to gain citizenship. I said no, but asked questions. Then he flew into a rage and stomped off. When I got him, my neighbor saw me and started with the Republicano jokes, and I reacted and shut that down. I told him no more joking and to stop. It was a shock to him because he had never seen me so serious. After that, the reality of his threat started to sink in. I realized it was not a joke, and even if it was, a bad joke. I've since ended all joking with him and distanced myself, but now I'm wondering what else I should do. Should I notify someone? Should I confront him? I'm expecting that he will play off and just a joke, and I'm not afraid of the threats. It's more of an insult than fear of what he will do, because I'm capable of protecting myself and matching any violence against anyone who decides to do me harm. I guess he thinks that the mind games and the threat/joke will increase my loyalty, but it will not, and has not. It has done just the opposite. I'm still friendly with his wife and kids when I see them every day coming in and out, but no one but me and him and maybe his wife knows that there is tension. Incidentally, if this neighbor behaves this badly out in public, I really feel sorry for his wife and kids. I can't imagine how he must be behaving inside the home. Your instincts are very good on this. You're doing the right thing by distancing yourself. Don't engage with him anymore is what I would recommend. Just stay away from him, because that's exactly what he's trying to do. He's, a lot of times when people lash out with threats of violence, and if you've watched the Ollie Matthews channel, he'll say often that narcissism many times ends in violence, or the end stage of narcissism is violence. And basically when you're dealing with a narcissist, you're dealing with someone who's mentally immature and emotionally immature. And that's what it sounds like this guy is. Like, if you don't agree with me on every issue, then you're not my friend. And the thing is, it's a complete lack of empathy, a complete lack of considering other people's feelings, other people's viewpoints. Like, I have friends who disagree with me on any number of political or personal issues, and we're still friends. You know, we don't end our friendship because we disagree on something, and that's the mature way of going through life. This guy is obviously immature. So, it sounds like they're probably empty threats, but you can never be too safe when you're dealing with someone like this, because you just never know. So you're definitely doing the right thing. Don't engage in any more political discussions with him. If he tries to, ignore the Republicano jokes and, you know, ignore the name calling and do the gray rock thing, and just don't give him the reaction, because that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to push your buttons. He's trying to provoke you into a confrontation, because he obviously likes that. Now he sees you as an enemy, so what he wants is to engage in aggressive conflict, whether it's verbal or, you don't know, it could turn physical. He wants to engage you now because he sees you as an enemy. So you're doing the right thing. Just stay away from him. Unfortunately, I don't think there's a whole lot you can do. Most cops in most places won't do anything unless something physical actually happens. He would actually have to hurt you, and then if you defend yourself and his friends are standing around and a cop shows up, his friends may back him up and say that you attacked him first. So then in that situation, at best, you may both end up in handcuffs in the back of a cop car. So I would say be very careful about even defending yourself physically. I mean, I know if you have to, you have to. But one recommendation that I often give on this channel is always record. If he's threatening you, every time you see him, have a voice memo app on your smartphone and always record. Anytime you interact with him, anytime. Turn it on, have it recorded, put your phone in your pocket, and record every interaction with him. So that way, if the police do at some point become involved, you have hard proof that he's been threatening you. And always stay calm. Don't get aggressive back with him verbally. Stay calm. Just if he tries to engage you in any more of these aggressive political debates, just calmly say, oh, I have to go. I have something to take care of. Nice seeing you. Have a nice day. Just be calm. Just be friendly. Just ignore the name calling and the insults, because that's what he's trying to push your buttons. He's trying to provoke you. Because what do narcissists like to do? When they know somebody disagrees with them on something, they love to provoke debates. Because that's how they like to dominate people. And this guy, he knows you have the more reasonable viewpoint. In his deep down, even if on the surface he's in denial, deep down, he knows you have the more realistic, more mature, and more truthful point of view. I mean, who in their right mind, like if you look at it this way, who in their right mind would, you get up, you get ready for work, you leave your house to go to work all day, and just leave your door unlocked? Let's take it a step further. Would you get up, get ready for work, leave your house for work, leave the door unlocked, and post a sign in front of your house that says free room and board and free food? Help yourself. Would anyone in their right mind do that? And the answer is no. He probably wouldn't even do that himself. But because, like you said, he's invested in going against immigration law, he's not going to state that your viewpoint is reasonable, because that would mean admitting that he has the unreasonable viewpoint. And it's exactly that. We cannot just have an open border and let anybody pour in here who wants to. Would you take food out of your family's mouth to feed anybody else who comes to your door, and then tell your kids, well, we're just going to have to eat less because all these people are showing up who need food? No, of course you wouldn't do that. So why would we do that with our entire country? He knows you're a reasonable person. He's gaslighting you. He's trying to make you doubt yourself. You're never going to be able to reason with people like this. It's like trying to reason with a 5-year-old, which is near impossible, So you've got a good intuition. You're doing the right thing. Just stay away from him. Don't speak to him. If he's going to be aggressive toward you, you don't need that in your life. He'll try and get you in trouble with the cops or whatever, and you don't want to get yourself in a situation like that. So the only other advice I could offer, other than recording him if he continues with the violent threats, the only other thing I can offer you on that is you can move. I know that would be a big pain and a big expense, but if it gets to a point where he's really disrupting your peace of mind, you don't want to live like that and be afraid or that you're going to get in some kind of a confrontation every time you pull up to your apartment building. It's not worth it. So sometimes it is worth the expense and the hassle of having to shell out money to move into a new place. I just did it. I just spent thousands of dollars on lawyer fees and court costs to go through a divorce and sell my house and purchase a new house, and it was a big pain and a big hassle, but I tell you what, I have a lot more peace of mind now that I don't have to worry when I walk through the door that my ex-husband is going to try and start some stupid argument with me over some nothing issue that's going to devolve into like a 3 or 4 hour circular argument that the kids are going to have to listen to in the next room. You know, I'm a lot more at ease now in my life. So I would say those are your 2 options. Always record or move, you know. You could possibly, if he gets really disruptive, you could possibly complain to the landlord. And if you're a good tenant, in some situations, like if you're a really good tenant and the landlord likes you, they may get rid of the troublemaker and say, hey, look, you better pipe down or you're out of here, you know, because you're not going to threaten my other tenants and make them afraid of coming home, you know. That's one possibility, but I would say only do that if he really continues to escalate. It definitely, you're right, it definitely sounds like he's coming from a place of fear. A lot of times when people lash out really aggressively, it's coming from a place of fear. I think there's a lot of immigrants in this country right now that are afraid that, like, as soon as Trump got elected, they were just scared to death that he's going to just start deporting people. This guy is probably he's mainly a law-abiding citizen, and he doesn't have any kind of criminal record, and he has kids. It sounds like the kids were born here. He's not going to get deported. They're not going to deport. No politician wants that bad press. They're not going to deport families with kids who are born here, even if both the parents are illegal immigrants. So he really has nothing to worry about. I don't know if he understands that. Even still, the United States does not have the money nor the manpower to enforce like a huge mass deportation. What I think what's going to happen with Trump and this administration, I think what they're probably going to end up doing, what I hope they end up doing, is addressing the source of the problem, and that's the porous southern border. It needs to be better policed. They need to take steps, put things in place to better prevent the huge influx of illegal immigration. That's how you solve that problem. And make it less attractive for them to come over here. Don't just allow them to have all kind of free benefits and such, or put some stipulation that, like, okay, if you want to send your kids to school here or you want to work here, like I know people have talked in the past about penalizing the employers who allow these people to work off the books. Start penalizing the employers when you catch them employing people and paying them, you know, under the table or off the books. Penalize them for it and say, you know, it's fine for, you know, the people that are already here if they want to stay here and work, but you gotta have paperwork so that we know you're here and who you are and where you live, and you need to have, you know, you need to have a job and you need to be working and pay some taxes. And you know, I think it does kind of help to have people, when they have skin in the game, they're going to be a more productive member of society. The way it's set up now is they can just come over here at will and get all kind of freebies and have no consequences, even in cases sometimes where they're breaking the law. You know, sometimes you'll have like somebody who commits a criminal act, and what they'll do is they'll deport them, but then even deporting all the criminals isn't always the answer, because we still got the problem of the porous southern border. So they'll deport a criminal back to where he came from, and then they'll just come right back because the border is not properly policed, or we don't have enough policing on the southern border. So they'll just keep coming right back. They'll get deported, they commit a crime, they get deported, and they'll come right back. So it's sort of like, you know, if you had a broken pipe in your house, would you start cleaning up the flood in your house and fixing the damage without going to the main water shut off? and shutting off the water? No, you wouldn't do. Of course, the first step, you got a broken pipe in your house. Step number one, shut off the water. So, I think a lot of this guy's fears are unfounded. He's just panicking at this point. Or maybe he's just the type of person that likes engaging in conflict. Some people are just like that. I mean, I used to watch my ex-husband just dial up a friend and start pushing buttons and name calling and, oh, hey, let's go out tonight. And when the friend would say, well, no, he was going to stay home with his wife and kids, he would start calling him a pussy and what does your wife run your life and, oh, you're a big pussy. And he would push buttons and name call. And yeah, he would sort of try to do that, oh, haha, just joking, I'm not really serious, blah, blah. But he really did mean it. When people do that, they really do mean it, and then they just use the joke as a cover-up when you call them out on their bad behavior. So, yeah, you're doing all the right things. Just stay away from the guy. Don't speak to him anymore. Just be friendly. Just be peaceful and calm, and stay away from him. Or move. Unfortunately, that's about all you can do, because I don't think the police are going to do anything unless he actually physically attacks you or does something to you. Now, of course, like if he forces his way into your apartment or he's in your apartment and starts being threatening and combative with you, then you can definitely call the cops if he refuses to leave, if he's in your home and won't leave you alone. You can definitely do something about that. But like out in a common area, like a parking lot or something in front of the apartment place, in front of the apartment building, they're not gonna, they're not gonna do anything unless he actually physically attacks you. And like I said, even that you gotta be careful with, because if his friends are there, they can say that you attacked him first. So be very, very careful with that. I would only defend myself physically if you absolutely had to. If he was absolutely, attacking you and you had to do something about it. But just stay cool, stay calm, don't let him push your buttons. I can't stress Grey Rock enough. It's very, very effective, because that is how you're winning over people like that try to provoke you, that try to push your buttons. Don't give them what they want. Don't take the bait, because that's what they're doing. They're trying to bait you into a conflict, because they like conflict. They thrive on it. When they decide that you're an enemy, they want to engage in conflict with you. They're an aggressor. And what do aggressors like to do? They like to have conflict and they like to dominate. So that's what I see going on in this situation. So I hope that helped. I'm sorry it took me so long to respond to you. The only other thing I want to mention in this video to everybody is I recently got 2 books, and I'm going to be covering some of the material in the books in future videos. One of them is Boundaries After a Pathological Relationship, and this was written by Adeline Birch. And I started reading a little bit, and it covers a range of topics. It goes, step by step and talking about, asking you questions about yourself. Are these things that you're allowing people to talk you into, or allowing people to influence feelings, allowing people to push you into saying yes when you really mean no. It's very good. It goes step by step, topic by topic, and it's a very easy read. It's not a long book. And so I'm going to be doing a video talking about this book. The other book I got was Psychopath Free by Jackson Mackenzie. I got the expanded edition off of Amazon, and I'm only like 1 chapter in so far, and this book definitely does not disappoint. He did an excellent job in this book, and outlining tactic by tactic that they use manipulators, how they gaslight, how they triangulate, how they make you doubt yourself, how they twist everything around to make it your fault when you call them out on their bad behavior. And then there's even a section later on in the book. I haven't read, I'm only in the first chapter right now, but I have kind of flipped through a little bit, and he talks about dealing with complex PTSD after a pathological or manipulative relationship. And that's also, it looks like a very good section where he's going to talk about the symptoms, things that you're going to feel after getting out of the relationship, symptoms of CPTSD, and how to deal with those issues as well. So I'm probably going to do several videos on this book. It's definitely, you could consider it a Bible of moving forward with your life after a pathological relationship. I highly recommend having this book. It's a great tool to help you in your recovery and moving forward in future relationships in your life. So definitely it's worth checking out. Also look up on YouTube. I also listened to the author, Jackson McKenzie, did he was on somebody's podcast, and there's a video of it on YouTube, and he talks about what led him to write the book, and just about different aspects of the psychopathic brain and how they think and how they function and how they make their victims feel. So that I would recommend that, listening to that as well. That's a good listen. And so hopefully I'll be getting to those videos soon about the books. And if anybody has any other advice to offer the commenter about dealing with his neighbor that's trying to gaslight him, go ahead and leave your input in the comments section. And as always, thanks again for listening.